All right, here we go. Welcome back to Golf Subpar. Colt Knost and the birthday boy, Drew Stoltz. Happy 40th, my man.
I'm a man. I'm 40. Shout out to my
right.
man Mike Gundy. That speaks to me today. But dude, it's a little bit depressing if I'm being honest. 40. I am now 10 years away from being eligible for the Champions Tour, which I'm sure that invite will be coming. I am extremely far away from the average age of the people on the PGA Tour, and it's all downhill from here. So it's been a good run, but 40 stings, bud.
Yeah, you got a 4 in front of it now. That's tough. I'll know what it's like in a year, but happy birthday. You look great, by the way, celebrating your birthday in your rowback. I love that because you all know by now, we wear rowback all the time. It's quite simple. Best fit, best feel. The quality of the gear just speaks for itself. And Sleaze, it's hotter than hell, as we've mentioned many a times in Scottsdale. Their polos are the best in the heat. Don't show any of my gut sweat. I absolutely love it. They're the best looking, best fitting performance polos out there. The collars never lose their shape, no matter how hot it is. Also, everyday shorts, incredibly versatile. Wear them with a polo untucked or a tee on the move, elastic waistband. I mean, they're just speaking to me right now. Clean look, no matter the occasion. Go to rowback.com. That's RHOBACK.com. Get yourself 20% off your next order. Once again, rowback.com. Use code SUB. Make sure to check out now that it's summer, and they'll have you ready for whatever travels or activities you have.
Good for ages 40 and below and 40 and up, by the way.
Yes.
There's no age on rowback. It's good for everyone.
Before we start congratulating people, we got any special birthday plans?
Last night, I'm up in Flagstaff right now, as you know. Went down to Sedona for a nice little one-day getaway. Got a little massage, BG, which was very nice. Fell asleep about 4 times during that. Started snoring, I think. Big supper. A lot of tequila. Again, I got to chill out. I got to chill out on that. I'm going on a little stretch right now where I'm going to chill it out a bit. And then I slept in until whatever I wanted today. No kids, no nothing. I was worried. I was telling you before, I was like, dude, I'm waking up at like 6:15 these days and I'm not going back to sleep. Like, this is terrible. I'm not sleeping as much as I should. Put that to bed. I think I tossed an 11 burger at him last night. So I'm back on the sleep.
Attaboy. Very nice. Well, let's get into a little bit of the golf that happened this week. The Scottish Open was incredible. Robert McIntyre, who basically had the trophy in his arms last year before Rory McIlroy finished birdie in some crazy weather and just absolutely stole it from him, gets the job done, finishes 3-3-3 to beat Adam Scott by a shot and an awesome 20-foot putt to win it that just dripped over the edge in front of the home crowd. The place went nuts. He went nuts. It was so cool to see, but one of the big discussions afterwards was the drop on 16 when he hit it right in the par 5, had a horrible lie, looked like he was just going to have to chop it out. But lo and behold, there's a little sprinkler head underneath there.
They got to grow that grass out there in the weeds somehow. And I think when he got up to the ball, he said after the fact, I feel like I could have maybe advanced it 100 yards or something like that. Took the practice swing, felt it on his toe. It felt like one of those rules, like it's easy to say, like, oh, that's bullshit or that shouldn't happen. But like, you can blame the rule all you want and say the rule needs to be fixed, but like it's one of those situations where, like, I think as a player, Colt, you've probably had him, I've had him. I'm like, man, this is about to be greasy, but this is actually like a real drop. I'm not trying to like finesse something here. This is real, and that's exactly what happened. And by the way, the fact that, like you mentioned, he got it just snatched from him last year with Rory, I was like, there's something there. Like I felt less bad about it because I felt like he already should have had one, honestly.
Well, one, like you said, the rules are the rules. Like, he called an official over. They went through it. He got a drop, and he took advantage of an incredible break. Like, he still, did 7 iron from 249, get to chase up there on the green to 8 feet and make eagle, was amazing. Dre and I were talking about it on radio this morning. It reminded us a lot of Peter Malnati on 16 when he won this year in Tampa. He hit it through the green in a terrible rough, and he called the official over. He's like, hey, I'm about to get an incredible break. Like, I just want to make sure I'm not doing anything wrong here because this is a huge break. And Robert McIntyre did the same thing. A lot of people are like, that's bullshit. Like, you shouldn't be able to do that in the rough. I'm like, what if your ball is up against it? Like, you're supposed to just pitch out sideways? Like, you're not going to hurt yourself trying to hit the golf ball and hit the sprinkler head.
And how do you change the rule, Colt, to be like, all right, you get a free drop if you're standing on a sprinkler head or your ball's on a sprinkler head, unless you have a really bad lie and you're in the rough and then you get to do it. You know, like, you can't, there's no way to like divide the rule like that. So it was a crazy good break, but it was the legit rule. Like,
it would never happen. But the only way you could say is like, you have to drop it in a very similar lie. But like, it's like, okay, well, that's pretty hard to do.
Or just like nearest point wherever it doesn't interfere, and that way it's not changing like drastically.
Yeah. I normally don't like to agree with Frank Nobilo, but when he did the practice swing, Frank goes, Dottie, was that an attempt? Like, because it looked like he was trying to hit the golf ball like as hard as he swung and everything.
Yeah, like testing it, I guess.
At first I was like, oh my God, he just whiffed. But he was actually just testing it, and then that's when he found the sprinkler head when he backed up, because it sounds like to me when he was describing it, he has soft spikes on the back of his shoes and metals on the front. And so when he first stepped in, he didn't feel it with the soft spikes. Then when he backed up a foot, he felt it under the metal, which is wild.
Yeah, lesson to all you pros out there. Make sure you got some metals on your boots somewhere. They're good for identifying sprinkler heads. It was a super fortunate drop, but like you said, he sacked up, hits that 7-iron, makes the eagle, wins like crazy. Adam Scott's got to feel a little disheartened after that, but props to him. Like, he wanted that thing so bad, his home open.
Yeah.
And then last year with Rory doing it, I was like, damn, that one stings. But shout out to him. In nice form, by the way, heading into the Open.
Yeah, and he enjoys a good celebration, which I know we both really appreciate. He was scheduled to have a press conference at the Open Championship on Monday at 3 o'clock, and he goes, I don't think I'm going to be able to legally drive by then. So the man ain't scared. He also moved his press conference to Wednesday.
And he also tapped the week after, sometime earlier this year, after he won, I believe, Canada. He got in the elevated signature events, and he said, no, I'll just skip that. I got some celebrating to do.
He got in a memorial and said, I'm good, guys. 20 million, no cut. I'm just going to go home to Scotland and enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm just going to go drink for a little bit. Thanks,
Love that.
Catch you next time.
Also, shout out to Harry Hall, who picked up his first PGA Tour win at the ISCO Championship, 5-way playoff. It was actually really exciting. Ended up chipping in on the third playoff hole to win. We've talked about it before. The aim point shit, it's not just him. It's got to go away. It is just painful how long it takes some of these guys to do it. But congratulations on your first win, Harry Hall.
Yeah, he had he's been hanging around the hoop a bit. Had a nice week at John Deere. We've seen him kind of in contention here and there. Not going to do a lot for pace of play going forward with all the kiddos watching him go through that routine going forward. But a nice win for him because he's been playing some good golf for a bit.
Yeah, all 5 guys in the playoff were looking for their first PGA Tour win. It was pretty cool and pretty exciting because there was a lot coming down the stretch. Didn't know who the hell was going to win. Ended up being 5 of them in there, but Harry Hall was victorious. And then the main event of the weekend, Tahoe American Century Championship. We were there for a few days. Marty Fish put on a freaking clinic with the putter. I mean, he hooped it from everywhere. It was so impressive to watch. Battled out Joe Pavelski for the title. he was close there a little bit on Sunday, but not really. I mean, Marty was pretty much in control the whole time. But congrats to Marty, his second American Century Championship title. And more importantly, we were in the building. Shout out to Corbell once again for an amazing week. Yes. We had ourselves a time up there emceeing the long drive contest.
It's one of the best weeks of the year. Thank God we're only there 3 nights. I got home and I was like, I got to get out of here. First, Marty Fish, shout out to him. 11 under gross, Colt. So, like, I know these are all celebs and stuff. That's real golf. That's not the hardest golf course in the world, but he still shot 11 under, including 7 under in round 2. But the long drive, where we're there, sun up to sundown, watching all the boys just send it. There were some nice moments out there. Your winner, I would say surprise winner, BG.
Yes,
he wasn't on my radar. Granted, it's the first time he's been there. Jason Kelsey, who showed up early in the day, by the way, and did it. Also hit the fairway for everybody asking on social media. He is one of like a few just monstrous humans that you can tell like has never had any golf instruction, doesn't really know what's going on, just kind of learns by watching, but they know how to swing fast. Him, AJ Hawk being another one. Some of these dudes, I'm like, when they set up to it, Colt, I'm like, oh my God, this is going nowhere good. But then they somehow figured it out at the bottom. It's pretty impressive with these monsters.
Yeah, we saw a lot of good shots. We saw a lot of horrendous shots. We might have witnessed a murder, not totally sure, by an amateur. I saw Jerry Rice. For the first things when I get there, I'm going over to say hi to some people. I'm walking by the chipping green. There's Jerry Rice in the greenside bunker, and he shanks one and hits a toddler on the fly. I'm like, oh my God, this is terrifying. What a way to start the week. Kid was okay. He survived. Jerry went over, said hi to him and all that, took him out on the chipping green for a little bit. But it was a scary moment. But there's some tough brave fans. There's some tough week for Jerry.
Tough scenes out there for.
We'll let you figure out the rest of the part. But I love all the fans. They're fantastic. But where they stand on the long drive hole is just not the smartest. We're gonna have to put like a big Corbell tent down the entire left side to bounce these golf balls off so we don't lose somebody some year.
about 240 down the left side, around where that bunker is, it just gets peppered with like some hard hit balls too that just don't stay in the air. Like there was something that happened this year. Hopefully that person's okay. I think they are, but luckily, like this is the third or fourth year we've been doing it. It's the first time I've actually seen somebody struck. So you got to keep your head in a swivel out there.
Yes, do.
These dudes don't golf, by the way.
No, they do not. And they're big and strong, and they can swing the club really fast. I mean, even Aaron Rodgers just hit a seed out there. AJ Hawk's ball, you mentioned, it carried 311 yards, and it didn't get more than 30 feet off the ground.
No, if he could have gotten it in the air, it would have been weird. Same with Adam Thielen. How about Adam Thielen? Props to him. He's the only guy there. He had 130 mile an hour club head speed. He's nice. When he retires, he's going to win these things. He'll be like Marty Fish when he retires and just plays golf.
They'll be battling it out for sure. I agree. He is such a freak athlete. It's ridiculous. We got to give a huge congratulations to our man Charles Barkley on his best ever finish in the American Century Championship. Finished 58th, was in the positive after 2 days. He's never been in the positive after a day. He was there, I think, 4 points after round one, just behind Tony Romo, by the way. And for the week, Charles Barkley made more birdies than Tony Romo. Charles 4, Tony 3. We probably will never bring that up.
So I had Tony written down here as things to note and some other names that he loved. AJ Hawk, by the way, who I said has never played golf. He might be the best player there who doesn't play, who like literally looks like he's never played golf because he's just a monster and he just swings at it hard. He beat Tony, by the way, guest of the program, friend of the program, Tony Romo, but you got to take some shit when it's deserved. Yep. And this week is one of those. There was a time, Colt, you sent me a text. You're like, Charles is one behind Tony, or Charles is tied with Tony or something. We're like midway through the tournament, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, through day one, Charles was beating him at one point. I think Tony beat him by like a point the first day. And then through 2 days, he was hanging right there. Charles was. I was like, dude, he's one back of Tony with freaking like 4 holes to play. Can you imagine if they get paired together in the final round of the American Century Championship based off score? This would be I would have flown back up there and gone out and watched it and be like, hey, Tony, did you ever think you'd be playing the final round with Charles Barkley? Oh, dude, my God.
That's what I was saying on the last round. I forgot who he was paired with. I was like, Tony's meeting some new celebs this week. Yep. Some people that he doesn't normally socialize with because they are teeing off a lot earlier than he typically does. But, by the way, another guy that beat him, Dwight Freeney, who I would also put in that list of dudes that just smash, that are monsters. Tell the story. You told it when he came up about y'all two in Vegas. I like this.
So that's a great story. So Randy Hedlund, longtime casino host up there in Vegas, when I was sponsored by Aria, was nice enough to always invite me to all the golf events. So we're sitting in Alibi, which is a bar there in Aria. I think it was like Final Four or something going on. Doesn't matter. So we're sitting there, and he's like, hey, Dwight, meet Colt. Colt, Dwight. So we're just sitting there talking. And Randy's like, how cool is this? Me just sitting here having a beer with a couple pro athletes. And Dwight just looks at me and goes, what the fuck sport do you play? It was great. So me and Dwight always joke about this to this day. Always send Randy a picture when we're together. He loves telling that story, though. What the fuck sport do you play? That's great.
Who are you, Joey Chestnut? What the fuck is this?
But by the way, Dwight Freeney is 5 feet wide. Dude, it is absurd.
I think I lined up in the 3-point stance against him just for fun, and I was like, I could literally run into this human as hard as I could, as fast as I could. I'm not sure his feet would move.
You couldn't move different. Ray Whitney. I don't think you're going to move Dwight Freeney.
He's different. A couple more highlights I thought, Colt, from the deal. Roger Clemens was just recently on the show, by the way. Came up and just did an impromptu karaoke there on the tee. You don't see that too often. Folks just
Toby Keith, who was a very good friend of him, rest in peace, went out there and he goes, who's controlling the music? I need Dream Walking by Toby Keith, and I need the microphone. I was like, all right, here you go, Raj. Knock yourself out. And then he did the whole song. We're going to have an awesome video of that, I'm sure, coming out here soon. But that was really cool.
Yeah, we will have the whole thing coming. I thought it was going to be like one verse and then, all right, thanks, guys, and then hit it. No, and by the way, that was early. That was in the morning wave, so it wasn't like 3 p.m. where you've been drinking all day. We were fairly early in that deal. And then also, we were able to convince Bret Baier to get out there and perform his karaoke song, a little rapper's delight. By the way, what a week for Bret Baier. He ended up having a WD after what transpired over there in Pennsylvania. And
he's our guest this week.
Yeah.
So he's had a busy 7 days. Also, Roger Clemens, I got to tell the story real quick too. So we've been to this thing several times. We know most of the guys that are playing, and we're sports freaks, and I mean, you know who most celebrities are. we're over there at our set. I'm talking to Brian Urlacher on the chipping green, and we see this lefty at the end just hitting these seeds.
Yeah.
Beautiful golf swing. I'm like, who the fuck is that? Urlacher's like, dude, who is that down there at the end? I don't know. We walk closer. We're talking to a few more guys. They're like, who is that? Like, this dude's swing is nice. He's just down there all by himself. Everybody just kept kind of like walking by because his back was to us to see like who it was. Nobody could figure it out. Finally, one of the caddies just goes up and asks him like, hey, dude, who are you? And it's Roger Clemens' son, Casey, who was not playing. He was actually caddying for Roger. Just wanted to hit some balls. Played Major League Baseball for several years. Gave that up. He's really focused on golf. Came out. He played in the Pro-Am with Ray Romano, so he was hitting on the long drive hole. 365-yard carry.
Yeah, we were right. When we walked down the range, the first time I saw him, I was like, I don't know who that is, but he's going to fucking win. It looked different. It sounds different. We knew he had speed, but I only saw him hitting irons on the range, Colt. And then he got up there and he's like, all right, I'm going to empty the tank. And what was it, 368 or something like that?
365 carry. 365
cover. I mean, and it, by the way, in the fairway.
200 ball speed.
Yeah, pretty good. Actually, shout out, since we're dapping up guys that hit bombs that weren't actually part of the celeb field. How about Roger Steele getting up there? He hit a missile too.
348 for Roger Steele. He can smash it.
Yeah, he's thick with a couple C's, and he can move it. By the way, there were some good showings by some of the non-celebs out there. And last thing on that long drive, Colt, just want to make sure you're clear on this. It's Colin Jost, not Colin Yost, if you ever run into him in real life, okay? Let's be clear on that.
Jost. By the way, I'm still waiting on a special little happy birthday video message for you from him.
Okay, good. That should be coming. He's going to want to make it special.
I was trying to get Scarlett to be in the video and everything. I actually just have her do it, not him. But
that would be preferred if possible.
Yeah, I'm going to work on it. That's my birthday present to you.
God bless you. God bless you. I'll be waiting on that.
All right. Well,
eagerly.
Before we get to our very special guest, Bret Baier, Sleaze, we don't like dragging our clubs to the airport. We ship those things.
Without question. Why wouldn't you? You know, I got a good little story here about like what you can do by shipping your clubs. My brother just went on a trip with a handful of dudes. I think there was 12 of them. They flew one of the airlines where you got to pay to check bags, right? So instead, the whole group sticks their clubs up there. So it's like $50, I think, if you check your bag, right, for the first bag or something like that. They said, all right, we're shipping all our clubs, and instead of the $50, we're putting it all into a pot closest to the pin on the first hole, first par 3 of the deal for all the marbles. So there was 600 on the line there, which I thought was a pretty good idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so love that idea. But seriously, do not carry your clubs on the airport. They treat them like shit. Shipsticks does not. They treat them like they're precious cargo, which they are. And by the way, normally they beat you there. You just they pick them up, they ship them to you, they arrive at your destination, you pull them out of the bag, and you send it. And if you want to do that, go to shipsticks.com/subpar and enjoy 20% off your next shipment. Once again, Shipsticks, best in the business. Only way to go. I'll be shipping mine over to Gaza Ranch for the member guests here in a couple of weeks with my man Brendan Morrow. Can't wait.
Shout out BMO. Didn't he just get into the Dallas Stars Hall of Fame?
Dallas Stars Hall of Fame, newest member. Congratulations. Longtime captain of the Dallas Stars, my partner at the member guest up there. It's well-deserved. He was a stud, man. I hate to say that. People actually listen to this thing.
He's a special
Maybe we'll cut this part.
Special. Love him.
All right. Well, what timing we had for our guest this week, because we got Fox News' Bret Baier sitting down with us up at Tahoe to talk all things golf, all things election coming up. And this was obviously filmed before the tragic happenings there in Pennsylvania with former President Donald Trump, which was horrific. So that was obviously not addressed. Just want to get that out there before. But here's Bret Baier on Subpar.
All right. It is a pleasure to be joined by this next man. You know I'm best from the anchor of the special report on Fox News, also a best-selling author, but this week, by God, he's a golfer. Bret Baier in the house. How we doing, Bret?
Good to see you guys.
And a hell of a golfer, by the way. What's the handicap at right now?
2.7, but I'm a walking wallet. I never know what's coming.
Walking wallet. That's
coming to the course. I'm just giving out money.
Those are my favorite people to play with.
Yeah, exactly.
Love
exactly.
That. 2.7 though. That's nice. You're a college golfer.
I did.
Correct?
I played at DePaul in Indiana, and I've been out here. This is my 7th year. I finished 7th once. I've tried to manage my time in the casino and elsewhere better over the years.
Nah, don't
but
do that. You are who you are. Okay,
That's
just
an
enjoy it,
important
embrace
piece
it.
of the puzzle at this event, by the way. Yeah.
It's an all-around event. It's an all-around event.
It truly is. If you can send it at night and still come out here and perform, you are a true special athlete.
That's true. It's an awesome tournament. Literally, everybody I talk to says this is the best thing of the year that's on their calendar. Everybody's jacked up about it. I've got a little news going on, and I'm still out here.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. We were talking about that before because there obviously could be some news that drops this week.
Yeah.
And if President Biden does step down, are you going to be able to stay here and play, or are you going to have to hit the road?
It's up in the air, but I've talked to NBC, and they're going to give me an uplink and a camera, and so I could do some things from here, but it depends on how big a deal it is. It's a huge week. Next week's the convention. Mm-hmm. No matter what happens, I'll be flying to Milwaukee from here. Mm-hmm. But, more and more, guys, it looks like the Democratic Party is kind of turning on their nominee and wants a process before their convention in Chicago. Today, Nancy Pelosi raised some eyebrows. George Clooney sent out a letter saying it's got to change. I mean, this is starting to happen.
We are definitely not a political show. Obviously, I'm not the most political person on the planet. But you've been in this business for a long time. I mean, have you ever seen, or could you ever imagine something like this would happen?
No way. We were planning out this election, and we actually, at the beginning, I didn't think it was going to be Trump or Biden. I thought neither one of them would be the nominee. Finally, they look like they are the nominee, and then this happens. I do think that it's not a surprise for the people who've been watching President Biden and kind of seeing some of this stuff for a while. It's a surprise for some people who purposely maybe weren't covering it or weren't talking about it, and I just think it's a sad state of affairs. But for me, it's a busy time.
I'll tell you what I find fascinating about this whole, the presidential, the election coming up and stuff is the debates are always great drama, right? No matter what side you're on. But never in my life did I think golf would get so much talk. Arguably the most watched thing, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The two most important people potentially going forward, and it's you suck at golf. No, you suck at golf. It's the only thing
but
that
I
they
carry my own bag.
Yeah, it's the only thing that really seemed to piss them off.
And suddenly, I was a 6 handicap, and then Trump comes in. You know what? That's the biggest lie of this entire debate.
Yeah.
He's not a 6. I've seen his swing. Yeah. Okay, he's not a 6.
That's the biggest lie. That one right there is that you're a 6.
And now you got $1 million bet.
Yeah.
With 10 shots aside. I don't know. I think I'm taking Trump 20.5.
Wow.
I am. I really am.
That is incredible.
I think it's a layup bet. I think you got to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's actually really good. In big picture, he's a good
Trump
golfer.
can play a little bit.
He's a club
no
champion
doubt.
in a lot of places, apparently. Not the senior division.
Senior.
Not
the senior. 2 regular club championships.
Oh, it's so good.
The real one.
He's specified. He's not the senior division, boys.
Yeah.
I love
Big boy flight.
That's good.
I saw you a couple years ago. You remember at a nice little place called Pine Valley?
Yes.
I believe Burning Tree as well.
Yes,
in
I am.
DC, right?
Yep.
Anywhere else? I mean, those are 2 pretty decent ones.
Those are good ones. The Grove down in Palm Beach.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan's place, Grove 23. And it's, Chevy Chase in D.C., but it's, I love golf. My kids are into it. My son's playing high school golf. There's nothing like walking down the fairway with him or them. And, that's what I dreamed of in college, and now I'm doing it. So anytime I can play in these things, I jump at it.
What are the nerves like for you when you tee it up on Friday here?
Here's the craziest thing. I mean, you guys talk to millions of people. I talk to millions of people at night. When you have to turn on the first tee in front of a couple hundred, it's a totally different operation. It's a different animal. So that first tee, at least, those butterflies are cooking.
Last year, I caddied for Alex Killorn, hockey player. Plays for the
hits
Ducks.
it a mile, right?
Yes, and a really good player. And this was his first ever golf tournament.
Yeah.
Okay. First day we go out playing with TJ Oshie and Hallie Ledbetter. Not that many people out following. He was great. Was in 3rd place. Okay. We're in the last group on Saturday with Steph Curry and Joe Pavelski. My man couldn't talk.
Oh, yeah.
Going to the first tee, I was like, this is about to be a problem. I tossed him a fireball. I was like, chug that right now.
This is bad.
We got to settle down. But, it was lined down both sides of the fairway. I was like, a lot of people aren't used to that.
No, yeah. I've fortunately played in a couple of these, and I've also played at Pebble Beach where I've seen Condi Rice and others take out some fans, and you're really thinking about that when you're on the tee. But I think there's nothing like it. There's nothing like playing in between the ropes when you're the guy. It's not just your partner; it's you as the guy, and that's really cool.
Who have you played with? I know you've played Pebble a number of times. Who are the pros you've been paired with in that?
Let's see. I played with Russell Henley a couple times, Todd Hamilton, Stuart Appleby, and who else? Jim Herman.
I've got the whole list.
And the late Mike Grayson.
He played with Grayson
Murray.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Who was
sad deal.
such a
Tragic
sad
deal.
story.
You had Ben on as well?
Ben on. Yeah, that was last time.
Yeah.
Who was a
Turned into a hell
great
of a player, by the way.
Amazing player. We made the cut, but there was no Sunday round because of the weather.
Yeah.
What was the year where you hit it? I've seen your highlight reel. You were right on 18, I believe, played it out of the bleachers, which
did.
was sweet. I think did you hit it on?
I did. I made birdie. It
What a
was
player.
So 18. I had it kind of by the tree, and my miss is to hook it. And I'm like, I'm not hooking it. So I really held it off, and it went into the Arnold Palmer Cocktail Lounge. And the caddy's like, you get a free drop, but we'd have to drop in the rough. He climbs up there. He says, this is a really good lie. And it's clear. So I climb up there. They're all clapping, and some guy gives me a vodka soda. And I take a wedge, and I put it on, and I made birdie. And CBS caught it at the time, and it was really funny to see it on TV.
Yeah, it's a hell of a shot.
By the way, you're normally in your loudmouth pants. You're awful quiet today.
Just came off the plane. Figured I'd save the heat for later.
What are we going with this week? Anything special this
It's
year?
a nice combination. I've got a Folds of Honor deal. I've got the fireworks. Got some skull and crossbones.
Yeah.
I've got a lot going.
I like that.
It's really the only way the Fox guy can get on NBC. It's
Good point. Good point.
Look at
Gotta be
those
loud.
pants.
Yeah. There you go. You like to hang out over at the casino a little bit. Who are some of your guys you like to go over there and hang out with?
Yeah, Tony Romo's over there a lot. Who else? Office.
Brian
Baumgartner.
Baumgartner.
He's
no surprise he was
always
there. Put in a session last night.
Was he?
Oh yeah.
Putting in some time.
There before anyone. One of the last ones.
So I'm, I'm going to balance it out. Be a little fair and balanced in the casino.
Yeah, I feel like I've said this before. There should be two divisions in this tournament, like the guys that are in the casino until midnight plus, and the guys who aren't.
Yeah.
Because it's not really a fair fight.
I've been in some golf tournaments where I went to casinos and been successful, late nights, staying way too long. And, some guy is next to me and he comes up and says, wait a second, you're Bret Baier from Fox News. And I'd say, would Bret Baier be in a casino this late at 3 in the morning gambling? And he's like, oh, no, he wouldn't.
That's so
and I'm
good.
like, hit me. But, yeah, I'm going to balance it out this time.
What if I was going to ask you, go back to AT&T Pebble Beach, you could play with any tour player, who would you pick?
That is such a tough question. There's so many good dudes. I'd love to play with Rory, just to watch him hit it. I've walked with him, but I'd love to play with him in a tournament. I'd like to play with Tiger when he's got his game going, and he does. It's fun to watch. Anytime I'm walking in between those ropes with those guys, I just want to stand to the side. The LPGA folks, we played with Jessica Korda.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And when she shot 60 at in Orlando, it was me and Larry Fitzgerald. And by the time we got to 16, we were doing the math in our head, like, we have to just shut up and move to the side because this is happening. And seeing good golf on the inside of the ropes is really the coolest thing.
They make it look easy. Some of the golf, I'm not meaning to not look at you directly, but I'm just keeping my head on a swivel because we're just to the right of the driving range here, and there's been a couple come rather close.
I feel extremely vulnerable. My back is to it, but I saw some of the individuals warming up on the right side, and
This is the
I have an
Harrah's.
enormous head, Brett, so I will block you. I will take one for you. I'll be your Secret Service, but it's dicey right here.
This is the Harrah's afternoon
You don't have to
rounds.
deal with this on special report.
No. That's right.
Give me what you've heard, because I know you haven't played with all of them, but the best ever golfing president. Who had the best game?
To be honest, Trump has the best game.
Really?
He really does, by far. And I wrote a book about Eisenhower. I wrote a book about Reagan. I've played golf with George W. Bush. I've watched golf with President Obama. I've seen President Biden play. Clinton. By far, Trump is the best. and he'll tell you that.
You don't say.
But
Yeah.
but he's, he can get it around and get it in the hole.
Can we get George W. Bush to maybe give the tour players a little philosophy and pace of play?
Totally.
I mean, have you ever seen a human play faster?
Player. His dad was fast too, HW, but he is super fast. I'm talking running.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
Preston Trail, it doesn't
2 hours.
zip.
I was at Brook Hollow in Dallas one day, and we heard he was out there and all this. We're on the 7th green, and I'm over a putt. And I hear, "Hey, Colt, we don't play that PGA Tour pace. Get out of the way." And it was President Bush was like, "That is incredible."
He came through in one. I was playing at Brook Hollow, and he came through in a group and said, "Bear, you still have a face for radio. Hurry it up."
Your impressions are really
They're
good.
really good.
What
We're
else
gonna
can
do.
you do?
We're
This
gonna do
is
more of
awesome.
those. Yeah, what else you got?
I tell you what, I did not have sex with that woman.
Good.
Yeah, that's all I got. I'm working on my Biden.
Oh, boy.
Folks.
Just don't talk.
Just freeze. Yeah, there's a lot of no's and just the combining of
Come on,
words. Is there anyone else in like the industry, I guess I'll call it, out in DC that likes to get out on the golf course, get after a little bit? Like
yeah,
you'd be
my
1A,
mentor
I'm
and
sure.
friend Britt Hume is a golfer. He's a great guy. There's a couple others who play, but really not like big time players. John Roberts on our channel plays a little bit. And I'm trying to think if there's other big time on other networks. I haven't played with anybody.
How often do you get to play?
I play super early in the morning, and then I usually go in. Now it's really busy, so
Yeah.
I haven't played in a while. I mean, I'm about a month away from a serious round.
Yeah. Give me like a typical day for you. Because what time do you go into the studio?
Yeah, I usually do radio in the morning. I do a bunch of different radio stations, just news talk kind of things about updates a couple times a week. I hang out with my kids in the morning. Then I go into the studio at about 10. I have a morning meeting, and then I'm busy throughout the day. And I'm really like zeroed in at about 4 p.m. Eastern time, and then shows at 6. Do a little post-mortem. I'm back home at 8.
Okay, so it's a busy day.
Yeah, it's a busy day. And then, politics time, I usually go up to New York, co-anchor with Martha, all those big nights. That's like our Super Bowl. Election night's like our Super Bowl.
Yeah.
What's the prep like for this convention coming up? I mean, that's a huge deal, too. I can't imagine you just stroll out there and be like, all right, let's get this thing going.
Well, there's a couple surprises. One is the VP pick that's going to come down between now and probably Monday. And so you're going to have to know a lot of this stuff, but we cover it day to day, so it's a little bit like osmosis. Conventions usually are like prepackaged things where they're just launching a candidate, but both of these conventions are going to be really interesting just because of the current climate that we're in and these two candidates. I mean, if you think about it, 330 million people in America, and here's the two.
Yeah, that's my whole deal. It's
Here
like,
we are.
It seems odd,
Here
doesn't
we
it?
too.
That this like arguably the most powerful country in the world, all this, and like, all right, here's our leader. It's one of these. Pick one of these two.
Yeah.
That's kind of staggering.
Now, both sides will say, hey, this is great. And that's what's so crazy about what's happening in the Democratic Party now is that, it was setting up to be another 2020, and now it's completely different.
should there be an age limit?
I mean, listen, I think so. I'm a term limit kind of guy, but nobody can ever pass it because the people in charge end up being old. And like I covered Strom Thurmond and a number of guys on Capitol Hill that just were super old. And they know their way around Washington, but we could use some young blood. It's a tough business.
I'm with you. Like I said, I'm not the biggest political guy, but it's like these are the two. Like, what is happening right now?
I feel like if you're unsure as to whether or not you'd feel safe getting in an Uber with the guy, then that's probably like maybe you shouldn't run this biggest, you know what I mean, the most powerful country in the world. Like
now,
I don't
age
trust
is
them to get
something,
me
but
down.
then, capacity is another thing. Like, you look at Trump and he, bouncing around in these rallies. He just did one last night in Doral. I mean, he's got, a lot of energy. There's a lot of people that hate him for a number of different reasons, but he's bringing the heat.
He's active.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets around. There's no doubt. Let's go back to golf here for a second. What would be a successful week for you here in Tahoe?
I think
Obviously
if I
playing all
finish,
3 days.
if I play all the days, which I'm really hoping, knock on wood, I play all the days. If I'm 10 top 10, I think that would be really good. Top 5 would be spectacular. If NBC has to put the Fox guy on the leaderboard on the first page, that's a really good thing.
Some post-round interviews?
Yes.
That would be nice. You
really
could just use
good.
it as a platform, just go on a monologue.
Convention
Don't even address the round
coverage
of golf.
starts on Fox News
Yeah,
Channel
exactly.
God,
Monday.
that'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be so good. Do you
Now,
have
John Miller, by the way, is awesome.
Yes.
He's a really
Great
great
dude.
guy and does a great job at this tournament.
Do you have a guy in this field that you like want like a friendly rivalry with, or maybe that you got a little wager with, or something like? I'd love to finish top 10, but more than anything, I just want to beat this dude.
Yeah, so last year I had a bet with Steph Curry.
Oh yeah.
And that worked
think you
out
lost
well.
that one.
That worked out well. I was in the group ahead of him on number 8, and he makes the hole-in-one on
Yeah.
7. And I grab into my bag, and I get my phone, and I say, "You're pressed." Because he had just made the freaking hole-in-one. He killed it last year.
He's good. Like,
He's
it's kind of frightening.
legit.
I've gotten to play with him. I think Colt's play with him.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, this is arguably at the time, like, this is maybe the best basketball player in the world. He's the best in the world at something else, but yet he's this good at this. It
Yeah.
makes you kind of feel like shit, honestly.
And I'm really happy he's playing for the country and he's not here.
Yeah.
I mean,
Go get us a
it's
goal.
fair.
Go
It's
get us a
another,
goal.
Handle the
another
goals.
slot. I'll have a number of different bets going, I think, with a couple guys. Maybe Tony Romo. Maybe John Carlson, my buddy from DC. He's going to be he hits it 7 miles. It's
hockey dudes.
that slap shot move. It's amazing.
By the way, you mentioned you being a walking wallet. Tony Romo, he's right up there with you.
Yeah.
He gets slapped around pretty good.
He plays
he can-
Scotty, so that's a little
Yeah,
tougher. It's a
yeah.
tougher.
Without shots.
No, he gets.
I think
he
he
does?
takes them
he
now.
does. It's up to 5 a side now.
Whoa.
That's
And-
crazy because Tony
and-
can.
I believe
He can
that's
play.
what Jordan told me. His last bet was 5 a side, and it still wasn't enough.
Wow.
Yeah.
He can play though. If he's going, Tony can move it around. Let's see.
Yeah, he's won here 3 times.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of guys. Mulder is always in the hunt. Smoltzy,
The same characters.
Same characters.
Yeah, they stay
they
good.
rise to the top.
I mean, Mark Mulder. I mean, it's bullshit that he got born with all that.
I mean, seriously, look
I mean,
how
look at
tall
that.
he is. His
It's-
arc is like way up here.
I always say, you got that, and I got this. This is, I mean,
Join
Yeah,
the
we're
club.
supposed to
What is
compete.
this?
We're not even the same species.
It's
He's got to
ridiculous.
be lacking somewhere because you can't just have the whole
Yeah,
thing.
well,
You know
let's-
what I mean?
let's leave it there.
That'd be
Yeah.
bullshit. That would be complete bullshit.
You're obviously not scared of a microphone. Give me a go-to karaoke song.
So I am. I'm in there tomorrow night, and I've got Wagon Wheel
Okay.
that transitions into Rapper's Delight.
Oh,
So-
Rapper's Delight.
Got actually.
Do you know the?
I don't want to.
Are you going to need the monitor?
I don't need the
I don't want to
monitor.
reveal my
We might
source.
need to hear a piece of this.
I don't want to reveal my source. He might have 2 first names, but sent me a little video of you singing "Rapper's Delight," and it was good.
Yeah.
It was really good.
So a few years back, I brought Sugar Hill Gang to my Christmas party for my staff
No
in
way.
D.C. And they went to Dubliner Irish Bar. They set up a stage, and I said, "Guys, I have a surprise for you. Sugar Hill Gang comes out, and I do Rapper's Delight with the Sugar
I've
Hill
never seen
Gang."
Lee so excited.
I just had no idea. I mean, dude, it's
I
like
said
the
a
first
hip,
rap song I
hop,
heard when I was a little
hip,
kid.
Hip, hip, a hop, you don't stop, a rock it to the bang, bang, boogie, so up jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat. Skiddly bop, Scooby-Doo, that's right, America, we love you, and we rock and roll to the summer sun, can rock to 101 years old. I don't mean to brag, I don't mean to boast, but I like hot butter on my breakfast toast.
That
I mean,
is
it can go.
glorious.
Go for a while.
Yeah, it can go, and it does go. It is unbelievable.
I
that
don't
you
get to
I
do
love
that on Special Report a lot.
How often do you have to do the karaoke? Because not every year people do the karaoke, right? Like it's like rookies or things like that.
I think he wants to. Did you not see what happened?
Well, yeah, you
he
should.
wants
This
to
is
do
an
it.
No,
opportunity for you.
I've been called up numerous
Oh,
times.
okay,
So
it's kind of like if you get designated,
if
like the Hunger
American
Games.
Century says, we'd like you to do the karaoke.
You do the
You do the
karaoke.
karaoke.
Whatever you have to do to keep coming back.
100%.
And you're going with a little mishmash. You're
I
going
know,
from
throw
wagon
'em
wheel
off.
into that.
Throw
Just
them off with a little country. Little
crowd
Darius
gets involved
Rucker.
in both of those.
Yeah.
I love
That
that.
is great. We got to check that out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I need
tomorrow
to.
night.
I need
Well,
to.
Brett,
There's been some good
We
ones.
know you got a very busy schedule. We appreciate you sitting down with us. Best of luck this week, my man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
was
It's
a
great to
lot
be
of
with
fun,
you guys.
always.
Thank you, Brett.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Awesome stuff. All right, that was Bret Baier joining us on Subpar. Sleaze, I didn't really think he was going to be the second one to ever sing on Subpar. We had John Rahm in our first ever episode. Now Bret Baier singing Rapper's Delight.
Second rapper we've ever had perform here.
A real
Didn't
dope
have Bret
rapper.
Baier pegged as a dope rapper. Turns out he's a pretty dope rapper. What a big week for him too, by the way. He's awesome for coming on the show. Was very open about everything. Then he's heading up to the Republican National Convention. And then with what happened in Pennsylvania, man, he had a WD the last day. I watched him on television last night covering it. Thought he did an unbelievable job, dude. And I mean, we're not a political show. We don't get into politics. That was a nasty, nasty thing. I think that's one of those things, Colt, like, I remember where I was when I found out when September 11th happened and things like that. Like, I'll remember where I was when I turned on, when the TV came on, it was breaking news. Boom, this just happened. And I don't care if you're left, right, center, politics, don't really care where you fall. But that picture of him standing up, bloody face, arm up in the air with the American flag behind it, that might be one of the most badass images in the history of the United States. Like, that will live on for eternity.
Yeah, that picture was insane. And those events, we'll just leave it at that, was ridiculous. That shit just cannot happen. Like you said, I don't care what side you're on. That is not the way to go about things. It was wild to turn on the news and see that happen. But Bret, man, he loves his golf. Pine Valley, Burning Tree, plays at Pebble Beach every year. He's a good player too. 2 handicap. He said he's a walking ATM, which I love. I love those. Those are my favorite people. Bret, we should play golf together more often.
Do you want to hang out more?
But really cool for him to come on, especially with everything that's going on. He does a phenomenal job. And by the way, that was when he was at the long drive contest. That's when I knew the sleaze had showed up.
Oh yeah, I took the 7:45 start time, and there's about 4 people out there. It just takes a little while to get the engines running. But when he hit the quick lefty, and I said, "Damn, man, I never thought I'd see you be left," or something along those lines. And he
normally doesn't favor the left.
Yeah, and that was when we really got going. We didn't get into it in the interview, but I know some buddies that play with him. John Carlson, who was in the field from the Washington Caps, plays a lot of golf with him. He said, "Ask him about Battle Axe," which is an element of the game Hammer, Colt, which we all love. One of the most violent gambling games you can play on the golf course too. He says Bret has this new element that he created called Battle Axe, which is when you get on the tee, before anyone hits anything, you can throw out the Battle Axe, which is a 4X on the multiple for the game Hammer, if you're really, really feeling it. And I love that's nice. He ain't afraid. He ain't afraid to send it on the course or on the tables too, by the way.
It was a lot of fun hanging out with him this week up there in Tahoe. Wish him the best at the Republican National Convention. But Sleaze, it's time. We got a major championship this week. Mm-hmm. The final major of 2024. They have flown by. We got the Open Championship this week. Royal Troon, side of my only Open Championship that I played back in 2016 when Henrik Stenson and Phil Mickelson looked like they were playing another golf course. They were 1,000 shots ahead of third. That was one of the
all-time like it's so corny to say like there shouldn't be a loser in this one. But I was like, they're so much better than everyone else. It's a joke.
Yeah, that was a special performance by those two. But let's get to it. It's no surprise. Scotty Scheffler is your favorite, 4.5 to 1, which he should be. Coming off 3 weeks off, too. So look out, a well-rested Scotty Scheffler. For me, I got this little stat here I'm going to pull up for you because I know you're big into these, Sleaze.
I'm a big stat guy. Feed it to me.
So at the last 10 Open Championships, the winners had a previous top 2 in a major, at least 3 top 15 finishes in their last 5 starts. They're top 40 in the official World Golf Rankings. They got a top 3 finish on the PGA Tour already that year, and a prior top 20 in the Open if they had played, which leads me right to the second betting favorite, 8 to 1, looking for some redemption after the U.S. Open. Rory McIlroy checks all those boxes.
Wow, Rory, wow. What a limb. Took a little time after the U.S. Open.
Finished 4th at the Scottish after a few weeks off.
Yeah, took some time out. He had a good quote that I thought was nice to hear. He said, like, basically, I haven't enjoyed my success. I don't do enough to enjoy it. I've been just kind of going next thing. Also, he catches tons of shit for 10 years now since he won a major championship. He's like, I'm just going to kind of step away a little bit and try to have more fun with the game, which I think if you watch him, BG, in those like younger years when we were projecting him to win 15 major championships, like he looked like a kid having fun, and it's changed up a little bit. So, all right, Rory McIlroy, he's very popular, not only this week, but in years past as well. I don't have a lot of like quote unquote data to support this one here, other than that he's played great. He's been the best major championship player this year. I don't think that links golf necessarily is what I would say suits him the best, but I think he's just running hot right now. Like from the way he's playing golf to like his public image and things like that. I'm going to go with Bryson, 16 to 1. if it's not blowing 1,000 and get a little bit calm, can he play the way he wants to? Maybe. I don't know. I just feel like things are coming up roses right now for Bryson.
You just mentioned the weather. Can I tell you a little something about what they're forecasting here?
Yes.
The RNA called it immediately. The RNA said they referred to Thursday as unsettling conditions. They're expecting massive winds all day long and crazy heavy rain in the morning.
Okay, so. I love that. By the way, that doesn't change my pick. I'm going to stick with him. But what it does, Colt, is one, makes me love it. I like to see carnage. That's what you want at an Open Championship, right? We don't need 2,500 to win this thing, but it also opens up the field, I think, to 1 million people. I just hope I hope like one wave doesn't get more or less like eliminated. I think that kind of sucks when it's like, well, they're screwed.
It's probably going to happen considering they tee off from like 6:40 a.m. to 4:10 p.m. Normally someone's going to get the bad wave, especially if there's weather like that. It's supposed to be pretty good winds, obviously really hard winds Thursday. I believe it's going to blow pretty good Friday and then kind of lighten up as the weekend goes on. But Thursday could be a lot of fun to watch from what it sounds like.
I love those days. I love the misery. I want 74 to be good. Hopefully it's just shitty the entire day and they all have to go through it. I don't want to see guys shooting 84 in the morning and then, it opened up in 65s in the afternoon.
Yeah. Okay, for my dark horse, he's won an Open Championship before. He's got one of the best short games on the planet, which if the weather's horrible, you're going to need it. Give me Cam Smith, 45-1.
Like that. That putter, when it gets going, it can change. He can hit it any way he wants if he gets that putter going like he did a couple years ago. Same with the same kind of theme for my dark horse. He's 40-1, so he's not that dark. But in terms of things coming up roses right now, how about Robert McIntyre? Playing some pretty good golf. Maybe maybe it's a situation where like the pressure's off. I already won my home Open. Like I would have taken that beforehand. Now the rest of the week is just icing on the cake, and he can put it back to back. He's clearly in good form, and he's been playing good. He's been playing great on the PGA Tour as well.
He's just got to sober up before Thursday.
He just has to, yeah, exactly. Dude, just dry out. Give it about 36 hours before you tee off. Start drying out.
All right. Well, can't wait for the Open Championship to get started. That's going to do it for us. Once again, happy 40th birthday, Sleaze. Your 30s are in the past.
Golly, 10 more years, dude. Only 10 years till Champions Tour training starts. Got to toughen up.
Yep, Steve Stricker, you better make it all now because the Sleaze is coming.
Yeah, dude. Burn hard. You're getting out at the right time, dog.
All right. Everybody have a great week. We'll talk to you on next week's Subpar.